When a serious illness or injury turns life upside down, the road to recovery can feel overwhelming for patients and their families. But what if you had a team of dedicated experts walking every single step of that journey right alongside you? Well, that's exactly what PAM Health does every single day. This morning, we are sitting down with two incredible occupational therapists and clinical navigators. We have Whitney Myers and Steve Zeller, who have dedicated their careers to helping patients truly get back to living. And they join us in studio with more. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We're happy to be here.
You know, we love Wellness Wednesday. We love diving into everything that PAM Health does because you're truly helping so many people across the Kentuckiana area. So what makes inpatient rehabilitation really different from simply recovering at home from an illness?
That's a good question. So inpatient rehab, really, you get a team of nurses, therapists, doctors that are supporting you, guiding you, motivating you to return to your prior level of function.
And that's what the whole goal is to get them back home,
Yes.
get them back to living and doing everything that they enjoyed doing before this happened to them. So what does success really look like for the team? And it's probably just more than just medical progress, right?
Medical progress is important. However, we base success on their outcomes. Being able to go home, get into their home, if they have stairs to get into their house, being able to get in and out of the shower, on and off the commode. Success is really being able to get our patients home with their families and their loved ones where they would like to be.
Because it doesn't just affect the patient, it affects those families too.
Yes.
They're probably the ones at home doing a lot of that work as well. So kind of regaining that independence is of course so important. And so what does it mean to you personally when a patient is finally able to return home?
It brings me so much joy when our patients are able to return home because it reminds me of my purpose, why I chose this career, and that is to help serve others.
The best part of the job too, though, is honestly not when they go home. It's when you run into them out at Kroger, when you're just when you're out somewhere and they're like, and you don't recognize them because when you saw them, they were 20 pounds lighter and they had just had a stroke, and now they're out and they just want to show you everything they can do now.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, look, I can walk again.
Yes.
Look, I can get something off the top of the shelf. Like,
Yes.
I don't need a step stool, or, probably before, maybe they could only raise their arm this much, but now it's fully extended. So that's probably such a great feeling. And so, again, it's so hard when you're sitting in that hospital bed. That's probably a lowest of low. And so what would you say if someone has a loved one right now? What message of hope would you have for them if they have a loved one in the hospital right now?
First thing I would do is tell them this is not the destination. You are just starting on your journey for your continuum of care. You're going to need patience. You are going to need to ask questions. You're going to hear a lot of terms that don't make any sense to you. People are going to say SAR and IRF and OT and PT. And don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to be an advocate for your loved one in that bed also. I think families are all the times, especially in Louisville, you might be lucky and have a family member that's a nurse or a doctor, then you can ask some questions. But some families, like a Ford family, they all work at Ford.
Right.
And they don't know what's going on. So ask questions, be an advocate for that person in the bed.
I feel like
Absolutely.
that is really at the forefront in healthcare right now, is be an advocate for yourself. I mean, there is so much online, but of course it is best to actually consult with a doctor, with an occupational therapist for sure. But in your kind of line of work, it's all about the small wins. So what do those kind of look like day to day?
Oh, small wins, especially for occupational therapy, which we do activities of daily living. So dressing, bathing, getting in and out of the bathroom, getting in and out of the shower. A patient that doesn't have to ask a family member to take them to the bathroom. That's a huge win. A patient that I took a shower by myself today. That's another huge. Those are the small wins that we don't think about on a daily basis, but when it gets taken away from you, just regaining that independence one step at a time. That's something that, once you get it back, you're like, I never want to lose that again.
And probably you feel fulfilled after that. This is exactly why you do what you do, but what is your why?
Ooh, my why. That's a great question. I think my why, especially with this job, because I was an occupational therapist for 25 years and saw patients at the bedside. My why is I like to be an educator now. I like to be that advocate and walk in. If a family is a Ford family that doesn't know anything about what's going on right now, why is this beeping? Why is the nurse not running in here 2 seconds after I hit this button? I like to be the person that can kind of educate them on that and be that kind of conduit and be with them through the continuum of care. I get that from my mother, who was a nurse, and we had 2 big families, and our phone always rang.
Yeah.
If somebody was in the hospital, she was the one that they were going to call. I like to be that person.
What about you? What's your why?
My why is if I ever had a family member who needed acute rehab, I would always choose PAM. They really support you. It's like a family when you go in. You know that the nurses, the therapists, the doctors are on your side. They're there to support you.
And I feel that every single Wednesday when you guys come on to talk about how close-knit of a team you are, you're really a one-stop shop when it comes to everything, and you're just across the river, which is so wonderful. So totally appreciate you guys coming on today. Thank you so much.
And we promise we're not going to make you swim.
Okay, good.
No.
Thank you guys
Thank
so
you for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
All right, to learn more all about their services, just head over to pamhealth.com.